So I've posted a lot of videos of me growing up and also of my parents and other family members. And there's one video I haven't been able to find, and that's a video of my mom's business. And my dad he took so many videos, but I just haven't been able to find any video of my mom's business, which was located in the Courthouse Shops. Now, the courthouse itself, the Crown Point Courthouse, was and still is a government building. Today, it's mostly a museum. It's mostly for show. But the basement, many years ago, I don't know how many decades ago, but the basement was converted into shops. And most of the shops down there are boutique shops. There's been a restaurant there for a long time. I don't know if it's still there. There's also the Candy Cove, which I think is one of the original shops. And so my mother, she had a business where she sold fabric and window decorations in the shops. It was directly across where Valentino's restaurant used to be. And I believe there's a new restaurant now. Valentino's closed a few years ago. But she had a small little shop there. And basically, this was a life goal of my mom. I mean, she had been talking about this since I can remember. And so basically, I found a newspaper article, which I posted as one of the pictures in this video slide. And reading it, she says that she raised me as her son, but as I've gotten older, it's time, as she puts it, quote unquote, it's time to go back to work. And again, she mentions it's been one of her lifelong dreams to have her own business. Now, this is the summer of 1995. I would have been 11 years old, going into 6th grade. And she would have had this business for about 4 years. I remember she had it throughout 6th grade, 7th, and 8th. And she had it, I remember she had it she closed the business when I was a freshman, I believe, starting out as a freshman in high school. So she had the business going strong for about 3 years, 3.5 years roughly. And so the idea behind her business was that she would sell fabric. And I remember when my dad and I, and three of us, we were helping put together this business, or a small little shop. I vividly remember putting together all these bookcases where she would store this fabric to be sold. So her business plan is pretty simple. Actually, the rent for her little place in the Courthouse Shops, I believe, was only like $100 a month, maybe $150 a month. I mean, it was really cheap for a business. And so her whole idea was to sell fabric and have sewing classes. And her business name was Creative Home Fabrics. But throughout her business, because she learned early on, I think the first year, she learned that people weren't interested in fabric. They were interested in window design and draperies and curtains, things of that nature. So obviously the business became a lot more complicated. And I remember my dad got into installing. I remember going to different homes in Northwest Indiana with my parents. It would usually be after school, and we would install the curtains and window designs in various homes. And, that's where the money was. So in the beginning, there were all these bookcases filled with fabric, and slowly, as time went on, there were fewer and fewer bookcases and more window fashions and home decorating designs and things like that. So my mom was really proud of this business. And I remember when my family from Indianapolis, from central Indiana, would come up, she would show all the family members, she would show off this business. And I think my dad early on, because I have a video of he's showing off the new Pontiac Montana minivan. He's showing off this minivan, and he says that this is the Creative Home Fabrics minivan. So I think my dad was into it too because he liked installing things and working with his hands. It was new. And I think my mom kind of romanticized this idea of having a family business. And I kind of like the idea too. I have a lot of memories spending time in the Courthouse Shops. But like I said, her business changed, and I think it became kind of stressful for my mom trying to manage this. Because the thing is, it's not just her, but just a lot of people who get into business, they don't really know what they're getting into. And so, like I said, I'm really proud of my mom and everything, but I'm just sharing memories here. And I remember good memories about it, but also I have kind of mixed memories because I remember it kind of created some stress in my family. Towards the end, I remember like 98, like towards the end of 98, my dad was getting kind of sick of this business. We knew it, we knew it wasn't going to like last forever. And so my mom found this business partner where they would share the space. So she would have her business actually went from Creative Home Fabrics to Creative Home Decorating. I believe that was the name, Creative Home Decorating. Actually, I used to have a big sign for it, Creative Home Decorating. It might be somewhere in storage whenever I get back after this pandemic to go through my storage unit. But anyway, she had a business partner where she was able to share half the spot. So her business basically became that shop in the Courthouse Shops. It basically became just kind of like advertising for window decorating because she wasn't really selling any fabric. And also she was trying to sell furniture that my aunt had given to her. But again, people weren't really interested in furniture. The only thing they were interested in was window decoration, such as curtains, drapes, blinds, even things of that nature. So anyway, this business partner, I guess, was pretty nasty because she basically kicked my mom out of her own spot. And the last memory I have of this business, my dad and I had to get everything out from her shop. She had a few other things, like 2 other things. And I remember this place, it was her business partner had it filled with like decorations, not like window treatments. It was just like random stuff. And I remember my dad and I taking stuff out. It was just like 2 or 3 things we were taking out. It was like little furniture stuff. And I remember my dad knocked something over. It was glass and it broke. And there was a tag on it for like $130. It probably was only worth about 20 or 25, if that. And I remember, it was a complete accident. I remember the lady the next day, she was yelling at my mom about that, we broke it on purpose or we have to pay for it. And it was just completely ridiculous. And, just to summarize everything, it was a really interesting moment in my life because this was a moment where I was coming to age. I was going from a kid to a teen. It was kind of exciting because it was new. I remember spending a lot of time in the Courthouse Shops, and I spent a lot of time around downtown Crown Point as my parents would be busy in the business. And I remember walking by myself or with some other friends to McDonald's nearby, or there were some other shops around Crown Point. I remember being there for every year for the Taste of Crown Point. And so I have a lot of good memories. And like I said, I'm proud of my mom and my parents, but with any business, there's some ups and downs. And like I said, it did create some stress, but it's just a really interesting moment. And going through all these videos, I've really focused, for some reason, I've really focused on this time. And my mom's business. And so anyway, just to wrap things up, so she closed. She didn't have any business coming out of that shop, but she continued to have a business out of her house. And I remember that she continued selling window decorations out of her house and creating window decorations from just her home. I remember we had a home business line. We had two lines. We had a regular line and we had a business line. And so just memories. So again, I love my parents. I'm really proud of my mom, and it's just a great time. So thank you for listening. Whoever's listening, thank you very much.